They don't want to be blown around. They don't want to be moved. The courage to face life's whirling wind of contradictions. The courage to love yourself. The courage to love.
And after it, whatever obstacle you're facing, go take care of it. Focus on what is it you really want? What is it you really care about? Grab onto that, focus on that, start fantasizing about that again, spending time thinking about what it would be like to actually have that.
More fun, more memories, more meetings, more encounters, more relationships, more experiences, more money, more achievement, more joy, more bliss. I'm creating opportunities constantly. So what I do is I shrink the finish line.
For years, I was afraid to love. The courage to take a chance. The courage to be who you are. He says, courage isn't for somebody else, for medals, applause, or moral debts. Courage is what at that moment feels most right for you. Not just situational ethics, but what feels right in your heart, the word. The heart, what feels right in your heart. One great philosopher says, cowards die many times before their deaths. The valiant never taste of death but once. What does that mean? The valiant people aren't afraid? No. It means that they experience that fear and they move forward. They move forward anyhow. Many people are dead now. Many people are allowing their dreams to die.
You don't find motivation, you build motivation. So we're going to build that motivation back up by admitting what we really want, by focusing on it and getting hype about it. And then we also want to find a way to really fall in love with the process. So what is it in the moment, in the act of actually working out that you can get into? Is it the getting stronger? For me, that was huge, like knowing that I was getting stronger and I needed to associate something with that. You want to have a self-narrative around showing up and doing this thing when you know other people can't. People that can have that discipline, that get excited about pushing themselves, being accountable, being consistent. Because ultimately, those things lead to an actual outcome, meaning you actually do get stronger. You do get better.
Many people are allowing the ideas to lie dormant and collect dust. Many people have all this talent and ability that they are allowing to be buried inside of them, that they will take with them to their graves, because they didn't have the courage to be who they are. And I say, as you begin to look toward the future and manifesting your greatness, it's going to take everything in you, that your life deserves the concentrated effort to begin to look at how is it that I can express more of me? How is it that I can bring my ideas out here now? How is it? And start living with a sense of urgency, because you're here today. You're gone today. Life is unpredictable. It's uncertain. There are no guarantees. No guarantees out here at all. So holding back, what are you waiting on? Ask yourself, what's the benefit of your waiting? What's the benefit of your not living your dream? What's the benefit of not listening to yourself?
You look better, you have better longevity, better stamina, whatever it is, whatever that thing is that you're motivated by, you really can achieve that. You can buckle down, be disciplined, set your sights on something very specific that you want to get good at. Disciplined practice at that thing to get good at this. On the other side of this, you're going to be far more extraordinary than you were when you went in, because you no longer have the distractions of the actual performance. You can just get down to practice. So flip that switch in your mind and think all about coming out the other side of this a beast, an absolute monster, better than you went in. And if you can tell yourself that story, I'm committed to this, I'm willing to do these things that other people aren't willing to do, and put into practice and understand as you're going through that unimaginable boredom, that on the other side of this is a skill set that has utility, then this becomes an extraordinary time.
So there's sprints all the time. And so because I only have a 6-hour day, I'm going to hurry throughout that day. I'm not jogging. I'm not walking. I'm in a big hurry. And you're going to be amazed at the transformation of your life. I may never give you a bigger gift than the concept of 6-hour days. I think I'm one of the only people you'll ever hear explain this to you. But I can tell you, I started to study these successful mentors. My gosh, they get so much done before 9 o'clock in the morning. My gosh, by 1 o'clock, they've accomplished so much. And the average person is just stretching, getting out of bed, done their first appointment or two. especially you entrepreneurs out there, how critical this is, because when you're an employee, at least as an employee to some extent, they control your time. They dictate. You need to be here at 9 a.m. You can't leave until 5 p.m. And so although that's a nuisance, it helps you be more productive because they're paying you. They tell you when to be there.
That's like over there, like the Lamborghini. My boy was like, he's from Detroit. My boy was like, I wanna drive in a Lamborghini. My boy that brought me was like, what do you mean by that? He's like, I want to rent one. He said, you ain't got to rent one. I got one outside. He said, but then I want the Ferrari one. He said, well, my wife got that one. I go pick that one up and bring it back for you so you can drive that one around. My boy from the D, like he driving around a Lamborghini. He can't believe it. He on the island. The Standard over there, everything is big. The Louis over there will eat up all of it. It's unbelievable. One dude went over there and built the tallest building, and then now that was the Standard. What's your standard? I don't care what it is. But what is your standard? I got some standards. I've been waking up at 3 o'clock in the morning and praying to God since I was 19 years old. That's a non-negotiable. Every morning at 3, I'm up. I'm the best in the world as a speaker, not because I'm the best, but I'm the best because every day I put God first. That's my standard. I don't care if I'm in Dubai, 3 o'clock. I don't care if I'm in Cali, 3 o'clock. I don't care if I'm down south, 3 o'clock. That's my standard.
But what happens for most entrepreneurs, they don't realize when you become an entrepreneur, you've taken on 3 jobs, 4 jobs. It requires more time, but people start to relax. My time's mine. My time's free. I love the freedom of being an entrepreneur. There's the greatest fallacy in the world is that you are free as an entrepreneur. And as a matter of fact, you have more responsibility, more obligations, more accountability when you're an entrepreneur because there's no guaranteed money coming in. The biggest mistake, the biggest misnomer, the worst thinking you could have as an entrepreneur is that somehow you're free because you don't have a job. Just because you call yourself an entrepreneur, if you are one, doesn't make you free. In fact, it makes you less free. And so what will make you free is really being free, really getting financially independent, really having enough money that you would never need to work again, really having enough money that if you didn't want to take a meeting, you didn't have to. So stop deluding yourself into this false sense of freedom because you call yourself an entrepreneur. It's hilarious, and it's why you're losing.
I've been married 31 years. I've only had sex with one woman my entire life. That's my standard. I'm not telling nobody else to do that, but my old dude wasn't in my life because he was running around having sex with everybody. I got siblings I don't even know. I just met my niece for the first time. She's 24 years old. So I'm like, I'm not doing what my dad did. My dad a high school dropout. I went and got my GED, then I got my 4-year degree, then I got my master's degree, then I got my PhD. And I ain't smart, but I set a standard so when my kids came in this world, their mama got a master's, their daddy got a PhD, they at least got to finish high school. I set a standard. Multi-millionaire as a speaker from the bottom up. I set a standard. I'm telling you, set a standard. Set a standard. You can't be no champion if you don't have a standard. And let me tell you something. The men who set a standard are always the ones who are champions. Set a standard, bro. I ain't never smoked a day in my life. All my boys smoke weed. That's my boys. I love them to life. I ain't tripping if they smoke. I just set a standard. My daddy was strung out on crack for 14 years. My uncle's died of cirrhosis of the liver. I'm good on alcohol. I'm good on drugs. Why? It don't look like my family know how to handle it.
You have this fallacy, this relaxed state of freedom where you're going to get around to doing things and you get to go to the gym anytime you want to. And you're wearing your sweats at 10:30 in the morning, right? You wouldn't do that if you work for someone else. You don't do that when you work for you. And so the greatest thing I can give you is the gift of many days. The next thing I want to share with you is that there needs to be an alarm clock. Where performance is measured, performance improves. Secondarily, the more you can shrink the time frame where you measure performance, the better chance you can have to alter that performance and improve it. So what do most people do? They measure their performance. The average people in the world measure their performance at the end of every year. New Year's Eve, right? They take an account of, here's my life. Here's what I accomplished. Here's what I didn't get done. And once a year, they take a look at themselves, they make an adjustment, and their performance improves. They measure their performance, they measure their results, and then they make an adjustment. So they adjust about once a year. Pretty good performers shrink the time frame. At the end of every month, most companies kind of do an inventory. Most people do an inventory. They look at their books, they look at the profit and loss, they look at their schedule, and they make an adjustment after they measure that performance at the end of the month.